Did you miss us? We're back.
We're back.
And I brought my pencil. Sorry, going into David Lee Roth there.
Oh yeah,
Hello,
I
Theo
I
Party.
understand that reference.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Popco the Writers. We were gone for about 2 weeks. The first week was my fault. The second week, Jim actually had a prior commitment.
That was my
So,
fault.
yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff to catch up on tonight, and we are going to do our best. But when you said you had something, you didn't tell me what it was, but you said it might be something good for the show. What was it you ended up doing last week?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched Evil Dead 2.
Oh,
That was what I did.
okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was like, what? Oh no, I'm on the spot. What did I do? Yeah, because I figured I could at least talk about that for a minute or so. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Amy,
Yes,
good to see you.
I watched Evil
Congratulations.
Dead 2 for the
Yeah.
first time.
Hey, Amy, good to see you. Congratulations on the new job. So, all right, let's see. Well, since you mentioned Evil Dead, you and I were just talking offline about horror comedies, partly because last night you posted that Svengoolie had Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is not a very fair title.
Well, they do meet. Well, they don't meet Dr. Frankenstein, but they meet the Frankenstein
Right.
monster.
But
Spoiler
they also
alert.
meet Dracula and the werewolf.
Yeah, right.
And it's Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney, where it's just Glenn Strange, but it's Glenn Strange as Frankenstein, as the
For the
monster.
third time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though Lon Chaney, as we learned last night, did play the monster for one scene.
For one scene, yes, that is true, and it's very evident if you know it, and then you watch it. It's very evident that it's not Glenn Strange, and that it's most likely Lon Chaney Jr.
Yep.
And only the second time that Bela Lugosi plays Dracula,
Right.
only the second and last time that I mean, other than on stage, but in the movies, that's as the Universal's Dracula, that's only the second time.
Yep. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun.
Good.
I don't know if you could make that movie nowadays. For and this is going to sound bad, but Abbott is kind of abusive.
Oh, he's horrible. Oh,
yeah.
No, he's horrible. But if you really watch the movie, Lou gets his. I mean, he has times where he really gets Bud, and if you watch it, you'll realize that's true. I don't know who is today's Abbott and Costello. Is there even such a thing anymore?
There aren't really a lot of comedy duos anymore.
No, and isn't that true? That's one thing that there really isn't anymore.
I know of one. And I can't remember the other person's name. There is a comedian that uses a puppet named Randy Feltface from Australia.
Okay.
And he does a lot of solo stand-up and stuff. But for a while there, he started working with another comedian and doing a lot of skit comedy and stuff, just the two of them. And you can find it on YouTube. And it's really some funny stuff. The other guy I think is a musician and comedian. And it's kind of an interesting pairing between the two because they don't acknowledge that he's a puppet during any of the skits. You've got a human and a puppet talking like they're just, they're pretty interesting.
Right.
So, but yeah, Randy, if you're not familiar with Randy Feltface, I do recommend looking up one particular routine called Randy Buys a Bookcase.
Is that his birth name, Feltface?
No, I think that's the puppet's name.
Oh, that's the puppet's name. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he ever uses his real name.
Okay.
So we never see him. It's not like a ventriloquist thing. It's more like a Muppet thing.
Yeah.
Where he's hidden all the time.
Okay. It's not like Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Yeah, or Jeff Dunham or any of those.
Right. None of that type of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. But I highly recommend Randy Buys a Bookcase.
Okay.
It is one of the funniest bits I have seen in a long time. But we were,
What about Penn and Teller? Are they a comedy duo? Sort of, kind of.
I think they're a magic duo that does comedy.
That does kind of. Imagine them making a horror spoof.
Yeah, yeah, I do like Penn and Teller a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. But we were mentioning some other good horror comedies after watching that,
Mm-hmm.
and Evil Dead, the
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
I recommended one that it's a lower production. It's not a widely released film, but it's called Secret Santa, and it's by the director Adam Marcus, who directed Jason Goes to Hell, and he wrote the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. He and his wife wrote this. It's
Mm-hmm.
The actors are all a group that I know because I do table reads with them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very funny movie. So I do recommend that.
Jason Goes to Hell is a comedy, isn't it?
What's funny is, like I said, I'm not a big horror guy, but some of my best friends in the industry are like Steve Niles.
Mm-hmm.
And I know both the director of Jason Goes to Hell, and I know the writer of Jason X, the one where he goes to space.
Now that was a comedy.
What's funny is that I wrote 2 miniseries for 30 Days a Night. The first one I co-wrote with Steve, and the second one I did on my own.
Yeah.
And in the one we called it Dead Space. And it's about basically vampires in space. And it came about because Steve texted me instant messengered me. That shows you how long ago it was. AOL Instant Messenger. And asked, what organs do I think a vampire wouldn't need? Because he was doing an autopsy in one of the books. And I said, well, I don't think they need their lungs because they can survive underground and not breathe. He goes, oh, yeah, good point. I said, they make great astronauts. And we just kind of went back and forth joking.
Boom.
Or I thought was joking.
Yeah.
And then about 5 minutes after we did those jokes, he says, hey, I got the artist Milks is going to do the book for us. I'm like, wait, what?
What book?
Yeah, and suddenly we had a 30 Days a Night series. But so I put vampires in space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this guy, Todd Farmer, we were hanging out one night in San Jose, and he was giving me all kinds of crap for the fact I put vampires in space. He's like, you realize when you put somebody in space, you are killing that franchise or whatever it is.
I was going to say, you can't come back to Earth after that.
Yeah. It took about 15, 20 minutes. And I went, wait a minute, you put Jason in space.
Yeah, and that killed it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, well,
there was a science fiction horror comedy called Life Force about vampires from outer space.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some good horror comedy out there. Army of Darkness is still one of my favorites. Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, I liked Shaun of the Dead. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was
Zombieland. Yeah, there's some really good ones out there. And like I said, I'm not a horror guy, so comedy.
Would you call Zombieland a comedy?
With Bill Murray, Woody Harrelson, and yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, there's another one right there.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. One of the things we haven't had a chance to talk about, and I know you're not the biggest DC movie fan.
That would be putting it mildly, but I still like to talk about them.
Yeah. And I was curious if that's because you don't like what they've been doing lately with the whole darker tone, the Zack Snyder stuff, or if it's you just don't care that much about those characters.
I was originally put off by Man of Steel, and I just never really went back after that. I think I decided when I saw that this was what they wanted to do, and it wasn't for me. That's not the way I would have done it. And I never went back. Except, let's see, I did go to see James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I liked, his work, and I liked the character lineup. and I actually did enjoy that. But that's it. I mean, in the modern era, I've seen Man of Steel and the Suicide Squad, and that's it. And I've watched everything. I've watched the progression of the movies as they've come out, and I don't know. They set out to not be Marvel and try to do their own thing. And the ironic thing is that as far as the comic book universes go, they kind of got it switched around. That DC was the brighter, funner universe, and Marvel was considered to be the grittier, more realistic universe, and somehow the movie universes got it switched around. But I have some hope for the future.
I'm curious on the Man of Steel thing. Was it Zod that did it for you?
It was the Superman kills thing. I have rarely ever considered getting up in a movie, standing up in a movie and walking out, and I almost did at that point. I can't, that was a mindset that I just could not subscribe to. I talked about it with a lot of people, and they said, well, what they were doing is they were looking at it from the character's point of view and saying, like, well, what else could he do, and blah blah blah. And my whole thing with that was, it didn't need to be written like that in the first place. And if it did need to be written like that in the future, and I don't know why it would need to be, or on purpose, there were things that I would have thought Superman would have done instead of what he did, or at least tried to do. Sacrifice himself, put his hand in front of the heat vision, even if he'd get burned from it. Grab Zod and go through the ceiling really quick and fly up into space with him. There was a couple different things, but the big thing for me would have been, he would have sacrificed himself. He would have thrown himself in front of that, other than to let innocents die. And it was just too big of a departure for me. And I know it was supposedly addressed in the next movie, and
Now, see, for me, that part didn't bother me because again, it's a different iteration of the character. So, but the part that bothered me in the movie, and I was okay with these, I've watched all of them, but the part that bothered me was not saving Pa Kent the way they did in Kevin Costner's character, because that just didn't make sense. Some bad, some of the stuff was bad. But
I mean, it's funny how I all through the movie I kept saying, all right, I'm going to roll with that. It's a new era. I'm going to roll with that. Okay, I can roll with that. It's, and then they got to that, and I remember I actually said out loud, I was sitting there in the theater, and I went, no. That would, for me, that was the line that I didn't want them to cross. They could do a lot of other things, but to say like, that thing about heroes don't kill, that's just so old fashioned, and that's off the table. And I just, and I fully admitted that I was looking at it from an old fashioned point of view. It just wasn't what I wanted. And I said, this is obviously the mindset that they're going to go forward with. And that was the Zack Snyder mindset.
I can almost understand what he was trying to do, was to give a reason for the no kill and save everybody. His motivation. He was trying to give him that motivation instead of it just, I was raised right.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to connect to a younger audience, because
which is sad. I know. I mean, with that at least.
But now kids and stuff nowadays, or people nowadays, aren't raised with the same sense of community and stuff like that, or not hurting. So I get it, but
But you know what? I think what got me was, okay, you're going to do that. Okay. But then right after that, the rest of the movie is basically him being very happy-go-lucky. He's Clark Kent and everything. There seemed to be no, fallout or regret or weight on him at the end of the movie. And maybe that would have helped me get through that, and I might have considered seeing the next movie to see the ramifications of that. John Byrne, and everybody pulled out the old thing about John Byrne had Superman kill, and it's like, yeah, and then you know what? There was like a year-long storyline or whatever it was that was the fallout and ramifications of what Superman did. It was fully dealt with in great depth. That went out. He exiled himself and all of that. And to me, it was like, by the end of that of Man of Steel, it was shoved under the carpet. And he was happy in his new job and secret identity, and all of that. And it's too bad because I actually liked Henry Cavill. He's no Christopher Reeve, but who is? But I could accept him visually, which is the most important thing. One of the most important things for me, I visually accepted him. He looked the part, and I guess he does even more now, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he's back. And before we jump on to the big news that we are late in getting to, but you might want to try the Aquaman movies because they're not dark. This was after they had already switched over. They got Joss Whedon. The tone on it is much lighter, much more fun. I think it's a better tone. The Wonder Woman movie is very good.
You know what? I did watch that, but I watched it on TV. I apologize, listeners and viewers. I did actually watch the Wonder Woman movie, and you know what? I didn't like it. I thought I would, and I didn't hate it, and I didn't like overly dislike it. I just didn't like it very much. I think the ending was particularly not good.
Yeah, I was in trouble with the ending of it, but
yeah, what drew me in was the idea of putting her in World War I. That was a really intriguing thought, and it's like the origin is there, and Gal Gadot is I'll say the same thing I said about Henry Cavill. She's no Linda Carter, but if I have to have a modern Wonder Woman, I definitely would say it's her. I hope she can continue to play role. She certainly looks the role, and she has the bearing, and the power behind her. So I didn't bother with, what was it called, Wonder Woman 84 or 1984.
Yeah.
Was that really bad? Okay. What's funny about that is that looked more fun. It was
supposed to be more fun, but it's also more problematic.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple things in it you're like, oh God, really? No one read the script and went, this is a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. But
what really gets me is that DC it looks like they turned Aquaman into Namor before Marvel could even get a chance to have Namor. So now we have Namor who can't really be like the Aquaman Namor or Namor Aquaman.
Yeah. Well, I think the only thing they did was they went visual, but they kind of went with the Peter David look.
Right.
Peter David went with the long hair and the beard.
Yeah.
And then they just went with dark hair instead of blonde.
Yeah. What happened to that second movie?
It comes out next year.
Okay.
DC. Okay, this is all the news. Number one is James Gunn and Peter Safran are now the heads, the co-CEOs of DC Films or DC Studios.
Yep.
And they have 4 movies slated for next year. It's gonna be Shazam in March. Shazam: Fury of the Gods. The Flash will be out in May. Then Blue Beetle is getting a theatrical release in August.
They didn't can that one, huh?
No, they said that one was good enough to go into the theater where they thought the Batgirl wasn't.
What?
They watched them. I don't know. That's the fact that they killed one and didn't kill the other, and they could have killed them both and took the tax break.
Yeah.
Tells me they thought the Blue Beetle was good enough to go in the theater, and
how odd.
And they both starred people of color. So
yeah, and Batgirl had the extra benefit of being female too.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton being in it, and it was and Brendan Fraser, and it was still bad enough that they still thought it was not worthy of a theatrical release.
So what will end up being the oldest one of those that's like will have sat around the longest? Probably
maybe. Well, Flash and Aquaman they were both done, but they're doing reshoots.
Yeah,
Flash will be out in May, but Aquaman's not coming out until Christmas Day next year.
I had a feeling that it would have been Aquaman would have been the one that's maybe been done the longest.
Well, Flash was supposed to come out before Aquaman, and then they moved the Flash, so they reshot the ending of Aquaman to get Ben Affleck instead of Michael Keaton, and then they moved it and flipped it around a year. So I think
this is part of why I lost confidence in the DC films. The other one was because I liked the building of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they don't have any weird and stupid things that don't that are Marvel characters but are not part of it if you don't count the Sony stuff or whatever. But it's this like, okay, we have these like Justice League movies, and then we have the Batman, which is its own thing, and then we have Joker, which is its own thing, and I want the consistency, I want the continuity, I want the universe building, and now it just looks like there's no confidence in the existing bulk of the DC universe. I don't know.
Well, the fact that you're going to continue on with certain members of the Justice League, we're going to keep Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot. Not sure what they're doing with Batman in this part of it.
Yeah.
If it's going to be Michael Keaton, like they were going in that direction, which seems like a horrible idea to me, to have a 70-some-odd-year-old Batman.
I agree. Unless that's the movie where he's like, in Batman Beyond or
I really hope they don't do that. I am not as big a Batman Beyond fan as there are people out there. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I still find it hard to believe that Michael Keaton wanted to do this, even though I'm sure he said, yeah, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to keep doing this.
Yeah. Jay says, as an unapologetic Superman fan going forward, all I ask is for them to make Superman the beacon of hope he's meant to be.
I can get behind that.
Yep, I think so. Yeah. But Gunn and Safran, Peter Safran has been the executive producer on the Suicide Squad and on the Aquaman movies. He's worked with James Gunn for years. He's also worked with Justin Lin, the director of the Aquaman movies. They came up on Annabelle and The Conjuring and stuff together. So it seems like they're in good hands.
Yeah.
I'm curious how they're going to handle the Ezra Miller thing.
Yes.
With, I can't see them continuing forward with him after this movie.
I'm right there with you, Dan. That's the 800-pound gorilla Grodd in the room,
Yeah.
You're right. How it's like, okay, you sunk a lot of money into this film. It's all done. I mean, are they doing some reshoots? I don't even know anymore.
I think they're doing a couple, but reshoots nowadays are just part of the normal procedure.
He seems to be a recidivist, that he's going to keep doing this behavior, and it's just not what they're going to want going forward. get the guy from TV to do it. Grant, whatever his name is. Yeah. But yeah, wow. The train wreck of this Ezra Miller guy. Whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
I think they're going to have to. I mean, they can use this to reset their universe and move forward with the characters they want and get rid of the ones they don't.
Yeah.
I know that there was a falling out with Ray Stevens, but that was the previous Ray Fisher. Excuse me.
I was gonna say Ray Stevens, of the
Street,
Street fame.
Ray Fisher,
Wow.
and maybe they could bring him back. I don't know if he'd want to come back or if they'd want him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think they should do a Flashpoint thing, and we get a new Flash by the end of this, because I don't think they can go forward with that.
No,
And
I wouldn't think so.
I think they need to decide what their Batman plan is going to be.
You think?
I don't think it should be Keaton. I think if they end up staying with Affleck, I'm okay with that. I liked Affleck as Batman. I thought
he's
actually
not getting any younger, though.
No.
How old is he roughly?
50.
Okay, so he's like my age, I guess, maybe, or close to my age. And
then, but they could go younger and recast it, but
I mean, they've had this success with Pattinson, a big success.
Yes,
I'll admit it. It was a big success, but they're never, ever going to bring him into the regular DC universe. And I don't know if they're planning on growing a universe within his movies.
They
as
are.
far as bringing, I don't think we'll ever see a Superman in those.
No.
But I assume that someday we'll see Robin.
I think we'll end up with the street level. We could get street level characters.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's never going to be a Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash in Matt Reeves' stuff. But he's doing the Penguin spinoff series. They're talking about doing the Arkham Asylum series is moving forward. There's going to be either movies or series about Clayface and Scarecrow and Professor Pig. So they're doing all of this stuff.
How weird.
So Matt Reeves is kind of in his corner. If they do it right, what they do is they have a Batman that exists in this other universe, but you never do a Batman movie. If you do Justice League, you have to have Batman in it. He can pop up in other people's movies, but that's the Batman for that, and you just keep them separated. And you could keep Ben Affleck at that point, because he's not doing big movies on his own.
Yeah.
He's in the ensembles or the cameos.
Yeah. Do we know what this Blue Beetle movie entails, as far as is it its own thing, or is it part of one of the other things?
I think it's supposed to be part of this part of the universe with Superman and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Justice League, the JL universe, I guess.
Yeah.
JLU.
Or the Gunverse and then the Reese-averse.
Pick a plan and stick with it. Stop trying to not be Marvel. All we want is for you to be Marvel, please.
Oh, David Zaslav has come out and said that they're going to be Marvel. That's
okay. Good. When the first Suicide Squad movie came out, or was going to come out, they announced it, and I said, no, wait a minute. I said, Marvel worked for years to earn the right to do Guardians of the Galaxy. You guys don't get to do a couple of movies, a couple of years, and then suddenly do this crazy ass, weird collection of side characters like Guardians of the Galaxy. No.
Yeah.
No.
But the thing is that DC's had success when they've gone with the lighter tone.
Like with in the TV shows.
Yeah, with Aquaman, with Shazam.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we haven't even talked about that.
When they go
what I understand, Black Adam is connected to Shazam.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're supposed to. Yeah, in the Shazam movie, there's a moment where they show Black Adam in kind of a silhouette, and it's obviously Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
So, But yeah, he was supposed to appear in the Shazam movie and then get his spinoff, but he didn't like how light the tone was. So
there's no way they don't have the two of them in a movie together at some point. And whether or not that's the second Black Adam movie or they each get two movies and then there's a fifth movie where they're, they battle or something like that.
I think the next is going to be Superman versus Black Adam. They set that up.
Yeah. Boy, poor Captain Marvel doesn't even get to fight his bad guy first. He's got to wait. He got to wait in line behind Superman.
He's had enough villains. He got Mr. Mind and Dr. Sylvanas in the first movie.
It'll be interesting to, even though the trailer for what is it called, Shazam,
Fury of the Gods,
is got the humor in it again, but who knows? Maybe that will be a little more. That'll be a little seriouser and move it. And if the next Black Adam movie can lighten up a little bit, and by the time they do all that, they can meet in the middle and be a perfect blend, a perfect Marvel blend of drama and humor.
Jay says, "Seen Black Adam twice. Solid movie, in my opinion."
Good to hear. That's what I've heard. I've heard that everybody likes Dr. Fate, but nobody really cared much for Hawkman and Cyclone and.
Oh, see, I've heard good about most of the characters.
Okay.
Not so much about Black Adam, and I hear the dialogue was not the best, but I heard that they liked the JSA.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it was they had the leftovers after, like, Stargirl had the pick of all the JSA characters. Well, who's left over? Cyclone and Atom Smasher and you can have Dr. Fate and Hawkman, I guess.
I still think that when I get over to see the movie, I'm watching it for Pierce Brosnan and Aldous Hodge.
Yeah.
Hawkman and Dr. Fate, because those are actors I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Aldous Hodge, his acting debut was opposite of Samuel L. Jackson when he was 9.
Which one was 9?
Aldous Hodge.
Oh, okay. He was. Yeah, I thought you meant Samuel L. Jackson was 9.
Yeah. Remember the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance?
I didn't see it, but I know of it. Yes. Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson runs a store, and Aldous Hodge, as 9, comes in with a radio trying to sell it.
Okay.
And yeah.
What a debut.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been, like I said, working since he was 9.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. You heard that Stargirl did not get renewed.
I have a feeling most of the CW shows are going to get killed.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder if that will free up more of the JSA characters, and they could potentially
probably
either go into a JSA movie or if the JSA is going to keep being in Black Adam's, stuff.
I think they'll probably pop up other places. They may get a movie, or they might get a series, like a HBO Max series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a Pierce Brosnan Dr. Fate series would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'd be up for that. But CW, since it got bought out, but bought out, such a bad term for it. They basically found the two companies that owned it gave 75% to another company, just gave it to them, and took on all the debt. That was the deal. Mm-hmm. But they've been killing everything. They pulled the plug yesterday. It came out that Whose Line Is It Anyway is being canceled after season 12. And it's like, that has got to be one of the cheapest shows.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's non-scripted. Mm-hmm. It's, the guys come in, they film a bunch of episodes at once.
Yeah, minimal set, right?
Yeah. You got the host, 4 performers, and the lady on the piano. That's it. You bring an audience in, and your writing staff is coming up with things for things from a hat.
Right.
Yeah. And so I don't know if they're because they talked about well we're going to get rid of this kind of go to non-scripted series and stuff. That's as non-scripted as you get.
Yeah. Right. So let's see. Is Superman and Lois the only DC show left? Then
Yes.
Is that right?
After the Flash ends this season. Yeah, and I don't think that'll be around much longer either. Or if it does continue, I think it'll move over to HBO Max. Because I think that Zaslav is. I think he wants to kind of not dilute the properties.
What a concept!
Yeah, and and he sees Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman as the tent poles.
As they should be. Yeah.
And you can get away with 2 Batman because Matt Reeves. I mean, have you seen the Matt Reeves Batman?
No.
Yeah. See, I loved it because
I'm glad for you. I'm glad for you.
It was a film noir murder mystery in a sense, or a mystery, and that's what I wanted. But yeah, it's a different kind of Batman. So having like the Ben Affleck's version, which was a little more, he made some jokes. He was lighter, not so much in the Batman versus Superman, but in the Justice League. And so I'm good with that, having the 2. Right. I just don't want them to do this Batman movie is this one and this Batman movie is this one, and just kind of like.
Well, that might be the way. I don't know. I'm adopting a wait and see with Gunn and the other guy in there, and that was kind of a bittersweet thing for me when I heard it, because on one hand I was like, oh no, Marvel doesn't have James Gunn anymore, and then I thought, oh, maybe James Gunn is exactly what DC needs. So I said, okay, if that's the case, then maybe I'll let him, I'll let Marvel give him up. That was so funny that supposedly he said the very first person he called was Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
I am jumping ship, buddy.
Yeah, and Feige's like, I'll be the first one to buy a ticket.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Whatever you do, yeah.
Yeah. Very
see,
cool.
I don't think, and this is speculation at this point, I don't think Gunn would have stayed at Marvel anyway. Because I think he went back after being fired and then brought back. Yeah. I think he went back because of his love of the actors in Guardians and wanting to finish his story.
Sure.
But I don't think he would do anything after that. I think he's going to wrap it up with the 3rd movie, and then he would go on and do other things. So we're still going to get, superhero movies from James Gunn.
Yeah.
And he grew up a DC fan, so this is even better for him.
Yeah.
But now he's getting to play in the world he wants to play in.
I guess I was hoping that there might have been another franchise within the franchise in Marvel that he could have continued with, but maybe that was just pie in the sky.
Yeah, I think
like
he's
probably real Defenders, or something like that. The Liberty Legion, the Invaders.
Yeah. I think he's just done with Disney after getting burned by them. And Jay says, I wanted more of the JSA. They were all great.
Great. Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. All right. That was quite a bit on DC, but it was big news.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a lot going on for them finally.
Yeah, and Gunn came out today and addressed all the fans, with the stuff like, release the Ayers cut of the first Suicide Squad, or the ones trying to save Legends of Tomorrow. And he said, look, we're still figuring out exactly what we're doing, but we're listening.
Yeah.
And we're looking at moving forward, but we're not taking any options off the table. So, which I thought was a pretty good way to handle it. Like, we're putting a plan together.
Yeah. The funny thing is that he is still working for Marvel. He still has to finish Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yep. And he has to do all the promotional stuff and
all of that. Yeah. You literally, yeah.
Quickly, we should talk about Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yeah.
The trailer for that.
Yeah. How many degrees of separation now with Kevin Bacon?
Oh, I just loved that. I had zero interest in it going into it for some reason.
Really?
Because I'm like, okay, because the Guardians, it's one of those that I enjoy when I sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't think, oh, I want another Guardians movie, or it's like I could have done without the Guardians in Thor Ragnarok, Love and Thunder.
Well, they were kind of wasted there.
Yeah, and that's partly because they had to flip the movies around, and but yeah, so but then when I watched it and I see Drax and Mantis trying to get Kevin Bacon, I'm like, I am so in.
Yeah,
I'm there, and it's only like what, about 3 weeks from now or less?
Yes, that's Is it November?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's sort of like a Thanksgiving release in a way.
Yeah. Which was exactly what they did with the Star Wars holiday special, which is kind of what
Oh yes.
Gunn is doing here.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I wonder if it'll have an animated part to it, a little cartoon part to it. That would be hilarious.
That would be funny. That would be very funny.
No, I'm looking forward to it. After Werewolf by Night, I'd say I bring on more of these hour-long specials.
Oh yeah.
The sky's the limit now. I'm waiting for my Stingray, the Stingray Marvel, special presentation Stingray.
Oh wow.
And, I don't know. Maybe Howard the Duck will have his own little hour-long special at some point.
I was trying to remember the secret identity name of Stingray, but all I could remember was Wendell Vaughn, who's Marvel Boy.
No, Dr. Walt Newell.
That's it, Walt.
Oh yes, because I am the biggest Stingray fan on the planet, and I fully expect a Namor movie with Stingray in it very soon to be announced. That's one of the missing Phase 6 movies. Hopefully.
Have you started working on your script for the Stingray special?
I've had that written for years. I begged Marvel to let me write a Stingray miniseries, and it's never happened. Damn it!
That's a shame.
Yeah, right. Because I had ideas for it too. Yeah, and it's funny because they kept having him pop up here and there. It's like somebody at Marvel likes this character because he wasn't just stuck in a closet somewhere for decades. He kept popping up in a series here and there, and it's like, come on. I think he can get his own spotlight now, but they didn't think so.
Well, if he shows up in the new Marvel Snap game on the phone, I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah, please do. Yeah. When I used to write for Marvel.com, we were all allowed to pick an avatar for when they put our name next to our articles. and I picked Stingray, and I remember whoever it was that I said, okay, I picked Stingray. They're like, we're not sure if we have whatever the word for like resource, I think they had to create, grab a picture from somewhere they didn't already have. They were like, what, Stingray? Like they expected me to say Iron Man or something.
Daredevil or
yeah, right. Nope, Stingray. And they're like, Jim, we have to create that. But they did, and Stingray was my avatar for a little while there.
Nice.
Well,
all right. We're down to 15 minutes.
Was there another show that we were going to talk about?
Yeah, Andor.
Oh, yeah, Andor.
You got to catch up on the last 2 episodes?
Or
3?
2 or 3. I don't even remember what the last one we talked about.
I think the last week.
He's in prison.
Yeah, so the 2 prison episodes.
Yeah. That's
with Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
And we do know that at least 2 people are getting out of there alive.
Yes, we do. And Andy Serkis is not going to be one of them, I predict.
Yeah, because Duncan Powell, who plays Melshi, is in Rogue One.
Yeah, right.
As Andor's buddy. So those 2 get out of there alive. So at least 2 of them get out.
I can't imagine Andy Serkis living through this.
Yeah, but how cool would it be if he did? and then they ended up using his body for cloning material for Snoke.
The Easter egg videos that I watched, I love what the guy said on it, Ryan from Screen Crush. He goes, yeah, I've heard that theory. He goes, it's really stupid. He goes, but it's fun, but stupid. I thought that was very fair. Stupid but fun.
Yeah, that just popped in my head. I normally watch all the Easter egg videos and stuff. I haven't been on Andor because it's a different kind of show for me.
Yeah, sure.
There aren't that many Easter eggs.
Right. No, right. It's true.
And this is not a show I'm excited about. This is, I equated it earlier to Shawshank Redemption.
Yes. Yeah.
It's one of those that you watch and you feel that was a good movie. And then you don't ever watch it again.
Well, right, because every time I watch Andor, I'm filled with anxiety. I usually watch it before I go to work, and it's like, why do I do this to myself? It's like I feel claustrophobic and anxiety ridden and everything else, because it's like, I know it's science fiction prison, but it still is like horrifies me that they're in that place and how horrifying it would be.
And the barefoot thing. God, I don't like the barefoot thing.
Yeah, see, I don't either.
It reminds me of Die
Hard.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's.
I wouldn't want to step on any floor, anywhere, at any point. I would just curl up and die. That's how I would be. I'd be the worst prisoner.
You realize their prison system is basically the floor is lava.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So Cassian's theory is that no one is watching. Basically, the prisoners are guarding themselves, just like the wardens or whoever instill them with some fear, and they have that voice that's that talks or whatever. But basically, and you see a few guards every once in a while, no one's really guarding that place. It's like they're keeping themselves in there. So question: are we to believe that the Empire is purposefully doing what happened to Cassian, meaning they're grabbing these people, trumped up charges, just so that they can put them in this place and they can have cheap labor? Yes. That's what we're supposed to believe, I think.
Yeah, and then they don't get out.
And if somebody ever figures that out, they wipe out like 200 people just for the hell of it.
Yeah, because what happened was somebody was released from floor 2 and supposed to go up to floor 4.
Yeah.
And then instead ends up back on 2, and they went, and everybody kind of freaked out. And so they had to destroy all of floor 2.
Had to destroy all of them.
Yeah.
You know what scene I really, really liked, or was at least very, very intrigued by, was, what's the guy's name? It's not Cyril. What's the
it's Cyril.
Cyril. When he approached Dedra.
Oh yeah, like full on stalker. Where the hell did that come from?
That was fascinating, because I'm watching this and I'm going, wait a minute, they like picked my brain somehow. I have often thought of scenes like that to put into things that I'm doing, or just in general. The idea of somebody so high up in something and somebody so low approaches them, and it's just this complete, like, what are you doing? How dare you approach me? And making that higher up person feel very awkward or vulnerable or whatever. That was a fascinating scene. And I got to tell you something. I have heard and seen many people, and I cannot subscribe to this theory. They say that he is in love with Dedra, but I do not believe that. That's not how I saw that scene. I don't believe there's any sort of romantic love that he's feeling for her, because I don't think he's capable of that. I don't think that idea is even crossing his mind, and it certainly isn't crossing her mind. They're two. I'm almost calling both of them asexual. Like, that's just not their thing. I think he's expressing kinship a like mind in an obsessive sort of way, but I don't think he was expressing like, I love you and want to have your baby kind of, thing. It was weird. I walked away from that scene not thinking that at all. And I wanted to get your take on that.
I see where you are from that. The way he said things and phrased things, I could see why they thought that.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about, you made me believe in hope again, and
you want what I want, or I want what you want, or whatever that was. That but okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that didn't see it.
But then again, this is also the first show in the Star Wars universe to have people go to bed to have sex.
Yes, we got it in Andor already. Yes, we did.
So
I can't wait to see where that goes. My prediction with Cyril is still that he jumps ship and ends up with the rebellion.
I still can't see
that's
that.
where I see it going with him. He's something big is going to happen to really finally just flip him. That he is so, like, he realizes he is with the wrong people. They don't want to have anything to do with him, the Empire and whoever else, and his talents are being wasted there. And I think the more he looks into Cassian, that he maybe realizes that the rebellion is a place that could use his talents. I think that Dedra's going to throw up such a wall to him and crush him so completely that's what's going to happen here. But I don't know.
I could see it going the other way. I could see him becoming so obsessed and so trying to get noticed that he wants the same thing that she wants, that he ends up doing something that basically is on such a large scale. It's the final piece that pulls the rebellion together.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Like maybe he kills Luthen.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect.
So you agree with me that Luthen is not going to make it out of this series?
Oh, I want him to.
He's not. We know Mon Mothma doesn't buy the farm.
Right.
It's got to be Luthen. There's no. I can't see him walking away from this series at all.
Well, that's the thing, is that the series is 2 seasons. Will he die in this season? I don't know.
I'm saying, when I say series, I'm meaning the entire thing. So both seasons. I don't see him coming out of.
Yeah, I don't think he gets out of the 24 episodes alive.
Here's the next big question: what's the deal with Mon Mothma's daughter? Something is going on there, because she keeps walking into scenes and she's totally brainwashed or whatever by her stupid dumbass father, who I can't stand that character so much. Prediction number 1 is I think she's going to turn her mother in.
Yeah, I think she's going to turn her in or do something that causes Mon Mothma to have to leave the Senate.
Yeah.
And end up on Yavin 4 and running the rebellion.
And so we never knew about a daughter before, if I'm not mistaken, with Mon Mothma. So my other prediction is that the daughter dies. I mean, because if not, then Mon Mothma has to abandon her own daughter, which I admit will create a lot of drama. Like, who cares if she abandons her husband? He's a jackass anyways. I could care less. But that's going to be really interesting. If it's not that the daughter dies somehow, gets caught in some kind of crossfire, the only other alternative is that that she abandons the daughter and wow, Mon Mothma, deadbeat mother.
Yeah. Well, we did find out some information about season 2.
Oh, I don't think I heard this.
It's going to start filming next week.
Groovy.
It's going to be another 12 episodes.
Groovy.
And it's going to be broken down in 3 episode arcs.
Okay.
With each arc being a year.
Okay.
So where this one, basically, we started off 5 years before Rogue One.
Yeah.
Then this will end 4 years before year 1. then each 3-episode arc will be a year, with
Gotcha.
the final one leading us right into the opening scenes of Rogue One.
Gotcha.
So,
isn't there isn't there an episode of Rebels that shows Mon Mothma leaving her old life behind and go? I thought that I saw somewhere, maybe in an Easter egg video or something, that little story has been shown. Like I think it's the crew in Rebels. The main crew is the ones that get her off of Coruscant and take her to the rebellion. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep that as canon or if they sort of mess with that, a little bit.
I think Dave Filoni would, because he's pretty adamant about keeping these things.
Yeah.
So it may not be we see the crew, but we may see the ship that she's going to, or somebody will say, "Oh, whatever the name of the ship is, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head."
Yeah.
But
we'll see. I'm to understand that one of the episodes of Tales of the Jedi that they retcon something, or they changed something that had already previously been told or shown with Ahsoka, but I'm not so sure what the deal was with that. So to show that could be done, that live action may take precedent over animated, even though they, animated still is canon.
I can't think of anything in Star Wars Tales of the Jedi that
I wish I could remember what it was. It was
other than Yaddle, but I think that anything further with Yaddle.
No, it was something to do with Ahsoka. It might have been. It was the last one with her in it. The one with Padme's funeral. Supposedly there was something changed that we did already know, but not like huge change. But and so that just made me think, like, okay, if a live action, or no, wait a minute, that's animated, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, so it'll be
and that's all Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni wrote all those. He wrote the Rebels and stuff.
Yeah.
She does kill the 6th brother, I think it is, and takes his double-ended lightsaber, and that's supposed to be where she gets the crystals to make her white blades, because she purifies them. Now that may be against something that showed up earlier. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
did you enjoy Tales of the Jedi, by the way?
All but the first episode.
Okay.
The first episode felt like it was really obvious and not necessary. It's a baby who shows powers of the Force. Yeah, we all saw it coming. It was predictable all the way through.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Count Dooku stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel it gave him a backstory, and you get a better understanding that he wasn't necessarily a true believer in the Sith. He switched over because, the Order and stuff like that. He just had a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And then most of the Ahsoka ones, though, they didn't feel necessary, where I thought the Dooku ones were really good.
Yeah. I love the Yaddle episode. And wait, who voiced her?
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, that was a great laugh to chuckle to hear that. Like, and she was saying like how proud she was to. I'm so glad we finally got Yaddle's story.
Yeah,
I enjoyed all of it, but at varying degrees. I really liked the Yaddle episode. It was really interesting to find out that the last straw with Dooku was the death of Qui-Gon. That's kind of like, that's when he said bye, and I praised them up one side and down the other for getting Ian McDiarmid to do the voice of Palpatine. That was great, and to get Liam Neeson in there also.
Though the younger version of him was played by Liam Neeson's son.
Oh, is that right? Now I don't think I heard. I knew it wasn't him, but I don't know if I had heard who that. Well, that's great. That's really, really great.
All right, we have hit our hour, and we got Tales of the Jedi in there too, which is really good.
Wow, what a quick hour!
Yeah. But thank you guys for tuning in, Jim. Good to have you back. We will be back.
Good to be back.
Yep, we will be back next week. We'll figure out what we're talking about then. We got a lot of stuff coming up, but
we'll have Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get over to see it, but again, it's been a bit crazy.
Sure.
But I'll probably have heard all the spoilers, so we could probably still talk about it.
Well, I'm going to see it Thursday night, which is a big change in the way I usually do that. I usually go see them on Friday mornings, but I actually have my ticket, and I'm going Thursday evening.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, then I will talk to you next week. Everybody have a great week, and we will see you soon.